Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
I have covered mostly column sort filter, subfilter prompts. You remember all of these things. Output. Are you already aware of the security groups? How to share with different groups? No, we didn't go through that right. Right. Suppose I'll start the column sort filter, subfilter prompts. Now I think I had covered till filter in detail previously. I'll just repeat the subfilter part once. If you don't remember, you remember the. What is the difference between filter and subfilter? In the subcategory, right? Subfilter. Yes, subfilter will be used for the secondary business object. Suppose I want to show one particular education school which is not coming inside the primary business subject of worker, then we would need subfilter. And if I have used what is prompt? No, just I'll give you an example. Filter. I can add the direct worker here that I had already shown, but I have the option of prompt the user for the value. If I do that, and if I go to prompt and start with populate undefined from the default, I have this option. Now here I can either select no value or select a local value, default value. But if I want to have a date which is falling between two dates, how would I do that? Suppose hire date. I have to select greater than equal to that. And another hire date should be less than or equal to. And I want to have it in the filter. Now there are two hire dates. I have added right. Right. I go to prompts again and I go to populate undefined prompt result. But you can see there is only one hire date coming. And here why is that? Because it's a subfilter. No, because it is filtered, but in the filter. I have added a default prompt in both of the filters. That is why only one hire date is coming. For the greater than or equal to, I have to save the starting prompt, and for the less than equal to, I have to add the ending prompt. And I go to prompt again. I remove this. Now if you populate undefined prompt default, now you can see two hire dates have come. One is from starting prompt, one is ending prompt. This is labeled for prompt. I have to add it because if I don't add it, both of them will show as hire date while I add it. The voice which was rejected by Bollywood industry initially. They said, "You are not suitable for Sinfield." Yes. Now we have three options. You remember what is for required. What mandatory right? What if I select do not prompt at runtime? It will not show in the runtime. And what if I select do not include in subtitle? I don't know what is subtitle. No worries. If I have, first I will run the existing report that you see the difference. This is one important thing. Sometimes for your client, I'll show you why. I have worker, I run the report, and you see the worker I have selected coming here, right? It is showing me the worker name I have selected while running the report. Now I will show you what happens if I select to not include in subtitle. Is it coming worker? But if I select, you see the worker name is not coming. It is useful for those cases where you don't want to see the end user, some of the end user, what you are selecting in the prompt value. Suppose you download this to the Excel file. You're not getting this worker selected right. Right. Suppose this Excel file is shared with some people and we don't want them to see what parameter or prompt we have selected while running the report, then we would use this. Suppose I add the sort as the worker. It's giving me 4 errors. The first one, the business object specified. The columns might be same in the primary business object when outlining is enabled, either even the field from the columns tab or disabled. Include group name in the name of headers and title. The group name column must be included in the report. I need to go to the columns and add group name. Now again I press. One error has reduced. The next one is no aggregate function has been selected in the option field on the column tab. At least one numerical currency field must be aggregated when subtotals and grand totals are specified in the report. Actually, let's select it by chamber. That would be useful. I will put the gender up. Base pay proposed total base pay analyzed amount I select, and you have this option. An option. I have selected valid option and there are a few options like maximum minimum sum. I'll select some here, and if I press, 2 of 2 errors are coming. The business of this specimen. The column will be saved with the primary business object when outline is enabled. When I'm using outline, I can select the secondary business object. Then I press. The report is done. These are the people I have selected. If you now see the output of this file, do you think something similar to the matrix report? Srini, can you hear me? If you go to this employee, I will add total base pay annualized amount in the report. Only Alan who has some amount. No problem. Now I will go to the security of this report. Currently, this report is shown with how many people. Don't share the report definition. It is not shared with anyone now. Suppose I want to share this report with any particular group. Now for that I have to go to Share and share with specify authorized groups or users. Authorized group, suppose I have VP reporting somebody. This is one group, suppose I have created. I want to share this report with this person or implement that I would like to share this report with. And also suppose H, our partner administrator, these two groups. I want to share it with. But there should be one group, suppose Prism administrator, who might have to share this report with. But it's not coming to the list. For that case, what do I need to do? I need to go to work for HCMM reporting and see what are the security groups having access to this data source. If a group is not having access to the data source, we cannot share this report to that person who is not a part of all these groups. For that, we need to change the security policy of that data source. Is somewhere listed all the security groups in the Workday. There should be some standard people for that. I'll show you. And I have one more question on the security. For example, I am a project manager in some company like Workday they have. My access will come under like whatever the group is there for the project managers. But will I be able to get individually one report, for example, I created? I want the access for me only. I don't want anyone else to see that report. Can I do like that? If you are given an access of report writer, then you can create report. And if you don't create that, share that report with anyone, then nobody will be able to access that report. That's what then, in that context, I have the full authority as a report writer. If anybody else is also a report writer and anybody else is an implementer, they will be able to see your report. What do you mean by implementer? Implementer is the highest access one can have in the tenant. What are the different hierarchies in the security? Implementer is one option, who has access to everything. Actually, if you see one day, there are different functional areas like functional performance and implement contact information. And there are different domains. This domain is person data name. If you want to see who has access to this domain, edit security policy. These are the groups which will have access to this domain. Like that, you can add any group here. What do you mean by domain? Domain is a place where all these business objects, this would I mean stay. I'll open this again. As you can see, you have to go to security groups. and go to the most present data I share with. I'll give a view access. I have to often view and modify. I have view access and I remove this and I press. What is this domain? Domain provides the access to name of the people. Note that changing a local or preferred. This domain is a place where you have all the data related to name from the person data. It is coming inside functional area. Right? What is functional area? A functional area is a place where you have all the contact information. Right? Domain comes inside functional area. This includes the domains. All these domains this functional area includes. If you give access to this, suppose I go to functional area, view domain security policies. If you see the domain security policies, you will be able to see all the domains access for this one. You click anything and you can give access to everything. Suppose you have person data name, person data work information. Person data work information has different parts. Private work address integration, private work email integration. You can give access to any group by giving the edit permission. If you do that for this option, only private work email integration will have access to the user you add. But if you click on this person data contact information, that is an overall right. If you select that and give permission to this domain, security policy, edit permission, then all the security, I mean domains inside all the child policies would have the same access. But the question was like there will be, for example, as I created a report, then I only can give the access right if somebody wants, like for example, you want the access for the report. We have to request me like I need access for this report. If that person is not an implementer or a report writer, they need you to give the access to him or her. Or if you are a report writer or an implementer, they can get the access themselves. Then what you're saying is, for example, whoever is a report writer, they have access to all the reports. Then basically in all the reports, we are adding this report, writer group. Yes, correct. I understood now. There are only two categories, report writer and implementers. These are the two high categories who I can work on report editing and everything. If you don't have access to report writer, you should not be able to search this task. It would not come. Got. And there is one super user who has access to everything. This person is a super user. And you are saying that security groups. What are the security groups we have? These are the warmly delivered security group. This is what I was asking. And you can also create your own security group. Oh, you go to create security group. You create a security group by this task, create security group. And here we have to add the integration security users. User also create integration system user. I would select. Password. I give Srinived 1, 2, 3, 4. Always remember this password. Now I have created the security user. And if I create the organization, I mean select the organization here that this security group users will have access to this organization only. And I will give applies to current organization and also subordinates that it would have access to everything. Below also, organization must be all same time. I'll remove this one and select. Now I have my security group added. Now I have the requirement of assigning this report to a security group. Is it coming the least? No, it is not coming actually. That particular group. This particular group is not coming. What is the way to add the security group? I go to worker for HCMM reporting. I go here, but one thing really keep in mind, in some projects everybody is not allowed to touch any security related things. There are different security person who takes care of all of these things. Right. You give your request to that person that this is the problem I'm having. This is the security group has to be added. They will check the things and they will add the security group or remove something. And few projects they give us everything. Actually, this tenant, all these things are not configured, because these are practice tenants. If people keep on changing things, changing configurations. Ideally, what happens? We need to go to view security. And these are all security policies as domains. And ideally, you should give access to all these domains. The group you have created. For the example, I'll just add domain security policy, edit permission. Is 1 second? 1 second. What was the security group we have created for you? I thought, no, this one, security. This one only we have created. I will give you. We'll press. And now I'll go to the. Is it coming? No, I see one right here. This is not coming because once you change anything, once you change any security group, you have to activate pending security policy changes. Keep this thing in mind. And always keep your comment. A self-explanatory one that if somebody else is checking, they are you later if you suppose doing an audit. And you are seeing that in last 6 months, what are the security groups? Changes have happened. If you don't write the comment later on, we will not be able to understand why this was changed. Actually, our practices, we give our initials and the first, then colon, then the description. That is the practice we normally follow. We have to confirm this. These are the two security groups I have changed. I have activated this. Do you see the change now? That's the process. And we have the option to test this report, which will only give you 10 data. We have the option to run this report, which will run for everything. And also, if you have suppose multiple records, suppose 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs data, that would not be possible to run this year because it doesn't allow you to run anything more than 50,000 data. And that would also take a lot of time. How would you react in this case if some report has a lot of data and you can't run it in the tenant? You have to go to. What is the integration? Custom report schedule. If you schedule this and run now, suppose I select everything. The integration is completed. The run is completed. You go to the output files. And you download the output in the Excel file. That's how we would process it. If there is a lot of data, what we cannot run in this. Because a big company, suppose having 3 million employee or 4 million employee, And if we want to run a report from the worker or it's everybody, it will show all the reports, right? All the data, right? That would really not be possible to run it in the tenant screen. And this is the matrix report where I would like to show you something. You are already aware of the security changes. Bronze filter, output, share and everything. And I go to output now. To select the chart and table. In that case, you would see the chart above and the table data below. And Srini, do you have any idea about dashboards? I heard, like, for example, if I'm in the benefits module, whatever the reports as a user, I can keep all the relevant reports to me in the dashboard. And if it's a high level management manager, like a CEO or something, he can have his own dashboard. Whatever the reports he has to view, we can keep it there. Correct. Suppose I create a custom dashboard as RDB1. And I have to select domain. Just hold on for a second. I create the dashboard now. But after creating the dashboard, the task to add the report to the dashboard is maintain dashboards. And here I have to filter it out. Go to edit. And I have to add it here. Do you remember on the first day we were discussing on the number of tabs we can add? Maximum tabs we can add is 6 and maximum reports there should be 6. How many? Out of we can add maximum 36 reports into our dashboard. I would buy 36 maximum. But if you have 40 reports, you can go to menu and you can add a menu section. And add as many custom reports as possible from here. You can add anything. That is the main thing, and you can give the report name. Sorry, tab name and worklet. Worklet is a place where you add anything that would show as a thumbnail. But your reports are not coming here, right? That is because we have to go to Edit. There are three things what you have to do to enable a report on the dashboard. You go to Output. There is one worklet option. You have to enable as worklet. And you add a CERD with the dashboard you have created. And if you press, as it is having outline, it cannot be enabled as worklet. There are few things we have to keep in mind. I'll just remove all these things. If you just go through the report, you will be able to understand what are the things you have to do to avoid that error. Now I will go. Now I will see whether you're getting this report. You got this report here, but there is one error. You cannot add a temporary report worklet to the dashboard. Actually, you cannot do it because that's a temporary report, but that's the process. Once you do it, it will be shown up in the dashboard. For the timing, I'll remove this. I have created the dashboard survey one. But those errors are not relevant for the original tenants. In the original tenants, all the configurations are done completely and nobody is touching that configuration. Things stay well. But here in this tenant, that is the problem and you have to go it by this way. You can practice it. Currently, you have access to your client in it. And do you have access to your consultancy tenant? No, the consultancy bond block, we don't have anything. It's everything from the client only. I think there should be some tenants. You can talk to your management. There should be some tenant what you use for any kind of testing purpose. Suppose you have to do a POC, you should not do it in the client tenant. Because if things go wrong, we face hell, right? You have to. I mean, maybe you can talk to your management that you have something for your company. That you can do all these practices not in this cloud foundation tenant and only in your tenant. Right. That things keep on going. If you have it and after the trading, your access is gone, right? You cannot refer it back to here. And you are having access to any implementation tenant or only sandbox and production. We are not at production now. It's only a start of the project. Now we are the conversion tenant. I have access that integration conversion happening. Only that tenant I have access. But you know, usually in PeopleSoft, where I work, there will be this sandboxes like before going to production, right? Deployment tuning. Then in that scenario, usually in PeopleSoft, when we implement, they will provide us a demo instance, which you call tenant. Do we have some demo tenant like that in the Workday also? Can we ask for that or how it works? You can ask for the sandbox preview tenant also. Normally from this implementation of the configuration tenant, you send it to sandbox, and for sandbox, it would give you send to production. No, but sandbox is a long way. Now, for example, all of us, the employees of the client also learning the Workday. It's pretty much new, right? In the conversion tenant, they're not asking us to play around. In that instance, will there be one demo instance by default? You can ask for that. You can ask any implementation tenant. You can ask for that. Or maybe any tenant where you have everything and you test everything right. Because you have to test it before going into sandbox or production. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.